I had a client that came to me and she was like, Arelis, I am having a lead gen problem. Long story short, she did not have a lead gen problem. She had a positioning architecture problem. I want to provide a little bit of context. She was getting bookings and she had 100% show rate and about a 90% close rate. She really didn't have a sales issue. When I dug a little deeper, she began to tell me that she actually had recently hired somebody to do her lead gen. She was getting a lot of cold traffic and it was attracting people without the intent to buy her services, or there wasn't budget alignment. And it had nothing to really do with her being too expensive. She had too many customer segments as well. What ended up happening was her messaging became very diluted and generic. When you're trying to talk to the masses, you're not being hyper specific. And I always tell my clients this, it's kind of like having a mic and just trying to talk to a general audience instead of trying to speak to one specific person in that audience and calling them by name. Then there's no confusion who your ideal client is and who should be listening to you in your marketing. There also was low pricing relative to her buyer sophistication. And that was very important because we did have some data to work with. And we could tell that she was mostly closing deals with people who worked in finance or who were lawyers or worked in insurance. So she had a sophisticated buyer, but the way she was positioning her offer really signaled her as being cheap instead of premium. There was psychological distrust in the solution. Then her calendar was filled up with unqualified calls, and there was opportunity cost of time plus energy drain that was costing the business money. So she made this investment for lead gen. It wasn't working out. So the lead gen was disconnected from positioning and the traffic did not match the ideal buyer psychology. When you are targeting a very specific audience that is qualified for your offer, it's more about targeting the mentality of that audience and making sure that you're just not trying to do surface level demographics, for example. After this call, we agreed on what this nice, clean business experiment was going to be. And this is super important. When you run a business, you have to be comfortable running experiments, but they should be controlled. And they're controlled because you have research and data to back it up. It's really about testing. It frees you and liberates you from things that don't work so that you can double down on what is actually working and refine it to educate you and get you to scale a lot faster. So let's just look at this hypothesis and what we're testing here. So we're stating that refining, positioning, and pre-selling premium buyers will increase qualified demand and revenue consistency without relying on cold reach. And the objective here is to build sustainable 30K months demand architecture that's aligned with high value clients. And here's the assumption. The product converts, but the wrong buyers were being invited. So she has a strong offer. She's an expert. It converts. There's no problems. So moving right along, we just simplified this. So instead of having someone do the lead gen and cold outreach and calling in the wrong audience, we just needed to really first figure out who do you want to speak to and who are you qualified to speak to because you can give them a transformation. So we refined the audience and we're only really targeting the finance, insurance, and legal. And we wanted to elevate her positioning and we had to elevate it. We needed to work on the marketing and the messaging to position that offer correctly. And remember, positioning happens in a person's mind. We really wanted to take that marketing content and make it so strategically potent with the messaging and insert sales psychology, not in a weird salesy manipulative way, but in a way where we weren't wasting her target's audience's time. And as soon as they saw it, they were like, that is exactly my issue. That is what I need. She just articulated why my problem still exists. and I feel super seen, heard, and now I trust that she actually knows what she's talking about. And it seems like she's worked with other people that were in my similar space. When you do that in your marketing messaging, it builds trust and you're pre-selling the audience. You've already handled a lot of their top of mind questions, how you do your process, how your product service actually helps them and benefits them. It answers their top of mind questions or any objections, doubts, skepticism they might have. And you want to really do that by showing, not telling, and it pre-sells them. And if you're thinking about what I just said, you're like, well, that's exactly what I would do on a sales call. Right. But we wanted to do it before the sales call so that when she actually did get on a call, those people were hyper qualified and ready to purchase her solution. When you do this, you can also shorten that call time as well. It's really just a quick little fit check. This is how we accelerated this process with AI. She had a lot of discovery call data. What we do is we take that data and we synthesize it and organize it. And what we're really doing is picking up on patterns in people's decision making logic. The important thing to note here is, of course, we used AI to accelerate and make us more efficient. However, what we were really using the AI for was to capture decision logic at scale. Then we created AI that will actually create the marketing content for her. And what ends up happening is the AI is more strategically potent. It's speaking directly, specifically, and with exact detail to her target audience, what her system, her process is, what that looks like, all the way to what her actual solution is. And if they feel like this resonates, go ahead and book a call. And on the book call page, we also had a qualification filter. And that was really to make sure that people who were activated by her content knew for sure whether this was the right next move for them. We used AI to also create a case study that made sense with their decision logic. So it brought them through a video where she hit on all the points that she needed to hit on so that that audience could tick all the boxes of questions in their mind. And of course, we raised her price. She wasn't experiencing people who were like, that's too expensive. She was actually talking to people that through our research, we discovered were paying 3 and 4 times the amount that she was going to charge. So in their mind, they were like, well, I just invested 3 to 4 times more than that, and I still have the problem. So am I investing in a Band-Aid here when I really need stitches? And because her product offer actually delivered on the solution that they needed, she was able to raise the price. The low price can repel your premium buyers. And you don't want that because in the grand scheme of things, you're going to need less buyers to hit your monthly target. So we raised her price. We more than doubled it. And she had capacity to actually hold that number of clients within her business per month. That's how we were able to strategically plan out how she was going to hit 30K months in her business by really concentrating on what the actual problem was, which was positioning architecture, not getting more leads. So if you have found yourself in a position where revenue has plateaued, maybe slightly slipped, or you want to set new goals, but you need the strategies and the infrastructure to really support those goals, I would love to hear more about you, your business, and what you're trying to accomplish. You can go ahead in the description below and you can fill out a short application. It'll take about 5 minutes. And you will hear back from me personally in 48 hours. If you're not a fit, no worries. You'll hear back just as fast. I want to respect your time. In addition, I'll drop down my traffic revenue calculator below. It's going to ask for 4 specific numbers from you that are very easy to identify in your business. It'll start with your revenue goal. and then it's going to reverse engineer the traffic and the numbers you need to hit to be able to achieve that goal. It's important that you jot down these numbers and you hang them up in your office or where you do your most work, so that when you are working in the business or on the business, you make sure that you are keeping those numbers in mind. And if you start to go off on tangents or start trying to fix things that you don't really know are broken, it's going to help you pause and really self-reflect. And you want to ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now really going to help me hit these numbers? Because these numbers are reverse engineered from my revenue goal. That really helps people kind of center themselves and be more strategic with their business tactics, actions. So until I see you in the next one, please drop down any aha moments that you had in this video. That truly is my love language. And until I see you again, may you and your business be blessed.